Meanwhile, a Virginia waitress is getting support from around the world after she received a check with the words, "We only tip citizens," written upon it. Her grandfather took the receipt, posted it on Facebook. Bruce Leshan of our Washington, D.C. station WUSA shows us what happened next.
Good morning, Robin. The manager of the restaurant said a restaurant regular was simply speaking Spanish with an employee when the man who has been identified as a New York City lawyer lashed out, threatening to call ICE and suggesting that he pays for their welfare. This morning, there are calls for that man to lose his job.
Your staff is speaking Spanish to customers when they should be speaking English.
A shocking tirade right in the middle of a Manhattan restaurant.
Every person I listen to, he's spoken, she's speaking it, is America.
An enraged man threatening to call immigration authorities on employees who were speaking Spanish.
I pay for their welfare, I pay for their ability to be here. The least they can do is
now welfare?
Video of the encounter Tuesday quickly went viral after Edward Suazo posted it on his Facebook.
I think it's hard just because so many people have their stereotypes with a lot of people, with the whole, oh, they're drug dealers, oh, they're this, they're that. And it's like, where you have these issues where people are like, oh, this is America, you can only speak English, or you can't speak Spanish, or you can't speak any other language, or you don't belong here because you're from Mexico, you're from Chile, the Dominican Republic, the PR. So I feel like that's hard, and we're a minority in a lot of places, so we're not listened to as much as we would like to be. So, and especially being young, it's kind of hard because we want to be heard, but a lot of people don't pay attention to us.
You leave these women alone! Get out!
This woman is very upset. She's berating another shopper for screaming at two Mexican women for speaking Spanish.
You don't harass people like this. You will lose your temper. All right.
Kamira Trent followed the shopper down the aisle at a supermarket in Colorado and called police. I spoke with the 30-year-old mom. What happened before the camera started rolling?
I hear this lady telling one of them that they're in America, they need to speak English, they can't speak Spanish.
That's when she stepped in.
Don't harass people.
People looking at that video might ask, why would you intervene for strangers? Could have been dangerous for you.
Because it was the right thing to do. It's the way I was raised. When you see something like that happening, you don't just stand there and let it happen.
So I think me being able to be a nurse and make extra money would help her. Like to pay, my mom, she's been through a lot to bring me where I am now. So I think me being able to get a stable job or get paid, I would help her, like pay her back in ways like having her stay home and not have to worry about how she's gonna feed us. Like I'd repay her by working, like to help her in the house, not having her work to buy groceries. Like I'll do that for her now once I'm older.
Well, at first I wanted to be in architecture, like designs, but then I seen like how lawyers are really needed for like special occasions, like someone goes to jail or something, and then I've seen like people in need of lawyers, like the lawyers ask for too much, and I feel like I could be a help. Like, I wouldn't do it as much for the money, but it's like that's how the family's doing. So I want to do that to help out. My name is Uzi, and I am Latinx.
Another tragedy on the U.S.-Mexico border where a 16-year-old Guatemalan boy died in U.S. custody Monday after spending a week in immigration jail. Carlos Gregorio Hernandez Vasquez died at a Border Patrol station at Weslaco, Texas, after being diagnosed with the flu. He was not hospitalized. This marks the fifth death of a Guatemalan child apprehended by Border Patrol since December. Before last year, it had been more than a decade since a child died in the custody of U.S. immigration officials.
Carlos Hernandez was arrested near the border in the South Rio Grande Valley May 13th and taken to a processing center in McAllen, Texas, where hundreds of migrants are held in large pens and forced to sleep on mats. U.S. law typically requires minors to be sent to facilities operated by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services within 3 days of being detained. But Carlos was held in McAllen for more than double that time.
I want to become a border patrol now. There are so many injustices. I feel like sometimes border patrols, yes, they're just there to do their job, but there's so many injustices, like whether to treat someone wrong. Yes, you're doing your job, but be respectful about it, and I want to change that.
Who was the first president of Mexico or stuff like that? We don't know that, but we can for sure know that George Washington was the first president of the U.S.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, and we know the people who are the dollar bills, but yet we have no idea any of the leaders besides Cesar Chavez.
You'd be surprised. Some of them I don't even know who they
Cesar
are.
Chavez was actually the leader here, not even in Mexico or any of the PR, Dominican. We don't know anything about that if you think about it. Yeah. Like it takes to go to Google and be like, who is Dominican Republic? And then we just like, they ask you about Martin Luther King Jr. Like, oh yeah, he was a activist or a movement for America. Yeah. So it'll bother me sometimes because I'm like, I don't know my history, like where my parents came from.